Fresh off the July 4th holiday, we're talking about America's team. Welcome in. I'm Doug Kezirian alongside Joe Fortenbaugh and also Preston Johnson. Fellas, time to dissect some Cowboys prop bets for the upcoming season, courtesy of Caesar Sportsbook. Let's start with Dak Prescott. 4,200, 79.5 passing yards is his prop for the upcoming season, 26.5 passing touchdowns. First things first, Preston, what are these numbers, or how do these numbers compare to your model?
So my model projects out for the passing yards to be fairly close. I'm just over 4,200, but the touchdowns, I have just a 24.9. It might not seem like a lot, but 1.6 TDs over the course of a season. That's a fairly big discrepancy. I would generally want to bet under. I can't do it, though. And you guys know I'm bullish on this Dallas team as a whole. And part of the reason is, my projection takes the entirety of Dak's career, his 4 seasons. In his first 3, he only put up 22 or 23 TDs in each of those seasons, and he played 16 games in each season. Last year with first-year offensive coordinator Kellen Moore, he puts up 30 TDs. They have the number 1 offense in the entire league. They were number 2 in passing. I expect more of that. I think last season is going to be more of a predictor for what we'll see this upcoming season, even with Mike McCarthy going in there. And so for me, it's a pass. I think the odds of him throwing 4,900 yards again like last year, that's unlikely. So you'll see the market come down. He's not going to throw 4,900 yards. He's not going to go 30 TDs. But to get to that 26.5 number, I still think that's a possibility. This Dallas team's going to be really good, and I'm just going to watch him do it.
Well, I don't need 4,900 yards, but I do need 4,280 to hit the over, because the over in the passing yards is kind of my favorite play of these we're going to take a look at for Dallas. I just think he took a big step last year with Kellen Moore, and also just like Amari Cooper full season. Now you're getting CeeDee Lamb. This offense is high power. Now, yes, they have a great running game. Ezekiel Elliott will take some yards away from him, but he doesn't have to be the most accurate passer, and he's not. But I think he's the perfect fit for the Cowboys, and I just like this prop over. I think their offense is going to be high-powered. Dak was actually second in the league in passing last year. Ezekiel Elliott, 4th in rushing, but we're talking about his touchdown prop for the upcoming season, 10. Joe, how do you feel about this one after having 12 rushing touchdowns a season ago?
If I may, a quick aside, I'd like to file a formal complaint with the decision makers at Daily Wager. 32 teams in the NFL, and we start with the most overrated franchise in all of professional sports. Now,
Wow.
People will say as an Eagles fan, I'm biased, but in the last 23 years, the Cowboys have won 3 playoff games. During that same time frame, Jacksonville's won 5, the Raiders have won 4, the Browns, forget about the Browns, don't worry about them. But the point is, this is the most overrated franchise in sports. So to answer your question, now that my complaint's been filed, and I may seem biased here, but I am going to go under the 10 rushing touchdowns. 11 is a much bigger number than a lot of people realize. Elliott's only gotten to this mark twice in his 4-year career. He lost center Travis Frederick, who's one of the absolute best in the game. And we all know the running game is in decline. 10 years from 2000 through 2009, 74 players recorded 11 or more rushing touchdowns. In the last 10 years, that's fallen to 49. Zeke can get there, but I think it's going to be a lot tougher than people realize. I'm going under 10 touchdowns here, Doug.
Yeah, I lean that way, and you kind of alluded to it. 300-plus rushing attempts each of the past 2 years. Last year, 12. The year before that, 6 rushing touchdowns. So 10 is just kind of closer to the ceiling than the floor. All right, so let's talk about the wide receiver position, the divas, if you will. Amari Cooper's prop, 7 receiving touchdowns, and the rookie out of Oklahoma, CeeDee Lamb, 5. Remember him falling in the draft? Couldn't believe it that the Cowboys were going to get him. So they have certainly some weapons there. Also Gallup as well. Preston, it's tough because Cooper burst on the scene when he was a midseason trade 2 years ago, but only had 8 touchdowns last year. Where do you sit with this prop?
So if my projections say the Dak Prescott passing TDs number is a little too high, then he can only throw so many touchdowns to so many receivers. I think both of these receiving ones are also high, but I prefer to bet under. I'm only 4.3 on CeeDee Lamb, a rookie receiver that really, when you look around, they still have Michael Gallup, Blake Jarwin at tight end. He's going to be throwing to Ezekiel Elliott as a 4th or even 5th option in this offense in his first season. He has to get 6+ TDs to beat us. I prefer that. I'm not going to go crazy betting under on Cooper. I still respect what the Cowboys did to some degree. Probably not as good as they were last year, but they're going to be better than they were the previous 3 under Dak. So under for CeeDee Lamb, passing on Cooper, but I think 5.5 you can get in the market. It's just too high.
Now we discuss team success. Here are the key numbers from Caesars. 10 is your win total. The playoffs, the yes, no, -250 is the yes. Remember, an extra wildcard team for each conference this year. They are the odds-on favorite in the division, minus 105, 13-1 to win it all and end that drought that Joe was referencing earlier. All those years since Jerry celebrated a Super Bowl title. Joe, how do you feel about this Cowboys team, you Eagles fan, you?
I am going to play the under. It's not a bet I love, but it's where I lean. 11 wins is a big ask for an organization with a new coaching staff and a very questionable defense. Look at the road schedule. They got to go to Seattle, Minnesota, Baltimore, and Philadelphia. All playoff teams from last year. All should be formidable this season. At home, they're going to host the Niners and the Steelers. Ben Roethlisberger's back. Those are going to be 6 tough games before we even talk about who else they've got. We mentioned how Travis Frederick is retired, but look at the defense. Jerry Jones just couldn't help himself. He had to grab the luxury item in CeeDee Lamb. We understand it helps the offense, but the defense was 25th in takeaways last year. New defensive coordinator Mike Nolan really could have used some help on that side of the ball. Speaking of Nolan, the last time we saw him, 3 years in Atlanta, 14, 13, and 12. His defense is ranked 32nd, 27th, and 24th, respectively. I question that unit. I'm playing the under on 10 wins.
All right. So, Preston, we know it when we did this in the spring and discussed the Cowboys, you liked over 9.5 plus money. So, certainly beat the market there. I was close to going minus 250 to make the playoffs because I just think it's a strong bet, but I'm going to go minus 105 to win the division. Don't even consider Washington or the Giants. With the Eagles, they just really haven't been the same since Frank Reich left. And when he became the head coach in Indy, they always kind of find ways and things just go wrong for this team. And I've never been that impressed with the Eagles defense, whereas the Cowboys offense is going to be elite. We talked about it earlier with Dak and all these weapons with Kellen Moore as the OC returning this season. I don't love McCarthy, but I think they get the job done and at least win the division. All right, that's going to do it for us. We got Joe's complaint filed officially. We appreciate that. And of course, much more betting content on ESPN.com's Chalk section.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.